We're start here.
Hi. Litigation has come up quite a bit during this conversation because you guys are in a very volatile and litigious industry. You even have a term for a lot of these people called patent trolls. And that exists in your industry where people intentionally either acquire or file more broadly based patents so that they can go and attack other people. As being an entrepreneur myself, in my own small little gaming company, we had less than $50,000 in operating capital. How do you justify to people like myself, and I'm sure like a lot of other people in this room, we need you to put up between 20 and 40% of your capital in hopes that you don't bump into one of these people? You'll never get out the door. You'll never get to market.
Are you sure?
How do you talk to somebody like me and say, this is why it's important, you may never get your product out the market, but at least you've got this patent here.
Yeah, I think one of the, maybe I didn't, personally, when I speak to someone exactly like you, that's why I really think that you really need to make sure, you really need to have a valuable patent before you think about going forward with it at all. And that's, I think some people think, oh, we'll get a patent. It's great, you get a ribbon, it's awesome. And there are, I don't know, are we into 9 million yet? Are we still in the 8 millions? Into 9 million. There's been 9 million issued patents, and almost 9 million of those patents probably aren't very good, aren't very valuable. So, I couldn't emphasize this enough, is to really think about, if you're going to pursue, don't just get a patent to get a patent. It really has to make sense for your company. And if it doesn't, don't do it. Yeah, that's my best answer I can give.
And I personally have seen 3 smaller organizations, very similar to mine, 3 to 5 man startups who get swallowed up by larger organizations because there's a small game mechanic. I'll give you a really good example. In 2014, a company called Orbital out of Seattle, Gamehouse owned the Slingo IP, and they had a game that utilized that mechanic. It wasn't called Slingo, but they put enough stress on them where they said, fine, here you go, here's the game. And then of course Gamehouse flubs it because they hire a bunch of people who don't fully understand the game, and they ruined it, and Orbital's kind of left to do nothing. This is only one, if I can give you about half a dozen examples of how organizations say, that's mine, you either fold or give it to us.
So we try up front as much as possible to get to know who we're talking to. What's your end game? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? How big do you want to grow this? Do you care if you've got competitors out there? There's a lot of issues to address up front, and that will help guide as much as possible. But then we also, from the advice standpoint, yeah, we can get you a patent on this, but it's not going to be worth much because maybe the patentable improvement is small, or there's so many competitors out there. It's a very narrow market. It's your potential profit off of this is $250,000, whereas I think it's exactly as you said. Why am I going to spend this much money up front on getting a patent when my potential market is only this? Well, that's kind of where if we haven't advised you of at least the cost and where's your end game, what do you want to make off of this? A lot of that, shame on us if we have not talked to you about those things, and the upfront discussions are vitally important to that. And I think, one of the points I was going to make after, but it's probably appropriate to do so, is there are a lot of resources to use around here. The university here with the incubation center, we've got people here from Next Tech, which is kind of a newer entity here that deals with BGSU, UT, Mercy, and ProMedica, and trying to foster innovation, bring inventions to light, help people along that have those types of issues. So, tech transfer. There's a lot of resources out there that you can use. So I think that if you want, just ask people.
I think it's a valid question, but I don't know if the answer is always black and white. It's probably case by case. Yeah.
Well, I guess I was going to go back to what Isaac said earlier when he defended the larger corporation. He got a letter and he ignored it. He got another letter and he ignored it. to get a general understanding of, you know, how serious is the company that's approaching you. Because a lot of people will send stuff out thinking that someone will be immediately responsive to it.
But
And
if you do nothing, I mean, if you don't protect it in some fashion, then you're definitely not going to be any better off than you were.
Right.
So it's a balancing act.
And just, I mean, very quick, if you happen to be the company that's getting leaned on, just, then first, I'm more than happy to talk with you about it. I really am. I detest like these thousands of cease and desist letters that some companies will send out. But I'm more than happy to speak with you about it. At the end of the day, if a company with a lot of resources is really committed to leaning on you, there's not much you can do. I mean, but that's, you don't have to necessarily acquiesce to their first, second, or third cease and desist letter.
Yeah.